Okay. Long story short, this daily video game is challenging. And on days like this when we're doing stuff all day long, sometimes we just don't film a video. And there's only so many videos we can make of like at the grocery store and like
Or just like day in the life.
Hey, like here's me at the
Here's
computer.
us working out again.
Here's
us hiking again. Here's us going to the barn again. Here's us eating vegetables again.
yeah. The reality is, our lives are great. We do a lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of great freedom, but trying to create videos that's entertaining, trying to capture stuff that we actually want to remember, like a big part of making these videos is, so we have the documented, we have the receipts of all the stuff, the Sedona trip and like different times of our life, which is great. Not entertaining for us in the future or anyone else watching to just see those things over and over again. So today what we're gonna do is try to tell a little story.
We're gonna tell a story.
Story time. So yeah, like I said, today, didn't film anything all day long, so let's tell a story. Let's at least make this interesting since we're still trying to get to 30 days and this is day 17.
I literally was gonna say 17 just because, like, I had even no idea.
I think today is 17, so our goal is to get to 30, but we don't want to get to 30 videos that are terrible, so
Kippy's like, let me give him here a little snuggle.
Yeah, you can be, she's gone. She doesn't like me at all. But yeah, the goal is to make 30 videos in a row as a challenge for ourselves, you know, to say that we did it, to be consistent, to try to push ourselves to do different things, and not make 30 terrible videos of us at Whole Foods. So we're gonna at least try to make this lack of filming day into something entertaining. So Sammy, take it away.
I thought it would be really fun to tell the story of like our careers and kind of how we ended up coming to work together. So I'm a licensed esthetician. It was my dream job at 15. I learned what facials were and I was like, done. Went to skincare school at 18, graduated. And then I worked for a couple of people. I worked for family, I worked for small businesses, I worked for more corporate. And by the time I had hit my fourth job, I had pretty much, like, that was the fourth time that I had, you know, been there for a while, worked my way up, and they closed down. And that was like a really pivotal moment in my career where I was like, I'm great. Like, I'm the only person that I've ever worked with that is booked. And it was just so disheartening and so frustrating, and I was just telling Tyler all about it. And I knew before we were going to close, so we had like a month, I would say, for us to kind of figure out what we were gonna do. And at this time, he had a t-shirt shop.
Well, let's take a couple steps back. How many years were you working random spa jobs? Because we moved into the apartment together, our first place.
3?
So I think
2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe 3 years had passed since we had met.
So by this time he had just moved. It was, I think, the previous. So that job fell through in April, and it was the previous, like, summer, late summer, early fall, that he had just moved his print shop into like a larger space in kind of a nicer part of town, more north. And he had this little closet in the back that had a door to the back side of the plaza, so you could enter from the back side of the plaza. And he was like, he's an Enneagram 5, he's a dreamer, a creator, and he's like, you got on your own. He's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You know, you have to get a job. And I'm like, I guess so. I was like, fine. So we like fixed it up. Was that when we painted it like brown?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have never, ever in your whole life been good at designing anything. Your take.
I have great vision, impeccable vision.
Execution is some of the worst I've ever seen. Like, you have messed up literally everything that you've done.
I know. I was trying, like my first iteration, I was trying to go for this like warm, like this
She
warm
painted it poop
beige.
brown. Later on, when we were building our house, she painted the wall blue. It looked like a gym, like a gymnasium.
Yeah, because we had brick walls and it was like a gloss navy blue. And I was like, no, it looks good. It's an accent wall.
We have spent thousands and thousands of dollars
covering up,
correcting mistakes she has made in furniture. The most hideous. I never say anything. I go along with it.
I'm learning though, as you can tell. I'm getting better.
You get better at asking for help. I don't think you're.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
So I was super nervous because at this point I think I was making more when I was at the beauty spot. It was pretty quickly that I would say that I started making more than you. But it wasn't like anything crazy. It wasn't like breadwinner situation. I just was making more. And I was just really nervous because we were moved into this new house. We were doing, oh my gosh, we were...
That was mid-construction?
Yes. Literally this house, I took a shower in a bikini and a hose for like 3 months.
We lived in a travel trailer and took cold showers.
A travel trailer that had an overflowing potty.
I fell into the septic tank at one point.
It was so bad.
At one point at this new house, there was a shed that we had tore down that had a bathroom in it. And I thought that the bathroom led to the septic tank, when in reality, the previous owner, the original owner, before my grandpa, who we got it from, had just buried a metal drum under the shed, like this deep of dirt. And over the years it had rusted. So I was pumping into what I thought was the septic tank, but reality, it was just a drum this deep with a rusted top, and I fell into it.
Yeah, so we're talking tetanus, we're talking whatever diseases were lying in there.
We tore down a full single wide trailer by hand.
Yeah.
It was quite the project.
We lived in there for a few weeks. Remember when we lived? We finally were like, we can't take this trailer or this RV situation anymore. So we were like, the house wasn't ready yet, and we like slept on the mattress on like just concrete, and we had to board up all the doors. We didn't have doors, so we would literally board. Tyler would like
I'd screw us in.
Like he would screw us in with like plywood.
I'm like, all right,
did we have a toilet in there?
Yeah, I think we did at that point. So I think that was the first thing I worked on.
Yeah, like literally like an elevated homeless situation.
Yeah, it was great. But all to say, we were doing that huge project
during this career shift.
While I'm trying to convince her
to go out on my own.
To go out on her own. We had no money.
No money.
We were just like, every dollar we got was going to this house, so we didn't have to like screw ourselves in anymore. But that's just kind of like the moral of how we operate. We're like,
fuck it, let's do it.
We're like, let's just do it. I'm like, why not? We're like in the middle of like a hurricane. We're like, oh, let's get a smoothie.
Let's get a raft and go get a acai bowl.
Yeah.
Anyways, I went out on my own. That first month, I was terrified. And I had made $1,000 more than what I was making at my previous job. So, and that was a lot of money. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, this can work. Like, I'm doing this.
The light bulb kind of went off.
It was insane. And so that was in May. And then I just went crazy on Instagram. That was when it was so easy to build a community and like market yourself on Instagram. Like, oh my God, if I had just stayed consistent from then onwards,
you would have been Kim Kardashian by now.
Of skincare, I literally would be.
But yeah, that was kind of the moment that the light bulb went off and you thought that this was possible.
And I remember the days where like I was posting, I was doing all the things, and like I was working, I had availability from like 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? And I would have a booking at 9 a.m. and a booking at 6 p.m. And I remember all the days that I was just stressing, like, oh my God, like, am I ever gonna make it? Like, but I knew in my heart that I was gonna blast off. Like, I knew that I was gonna get busy. I knew I was gonna get booked. And I remember just like being like, you know what? Let me just enjoy this. I remember taking naps, doing treatments on myself all the time, and being like, this is the last time. I just knew that that was the last time my life was gonna be that slow. And that was in September. I remember this so clearly. Boom, November, December, fully booked. Like, my hands like could not handle. It was insane.
It just like happened like so fast.
I was surviving on venti frappuccinos. Literally, that's all I would eat. I would literally make him go get me a gigantic frappuccino. That's all I would have. Just facial all day long.
Oh, I was probably eating McDonald's right in front of you.
Yeah, we were not healthy back then. We were surviving. And then the following January, February, I was getting really frustrated because I was like, okay, like, what's next? Like, I don't want to do this forever. I'm like, what's the next step up? And everyone around me was like, you know, have your own place, do your own place. Common thread here is I never dreamed of going on my own. I never dreamed of owning my own place. It's just kind of, I was just kind of pushed into it. Either out of necessity or out of lack in the industry. But I always loved being like someone's sidekick. Rice is done. It's almost done.
I'm not sure if it's done or not. Why does everything beep 900 times? Beep once. I can hear it.
Okay, January, February. I was like, Tyler was like, you gotta do your own space. And I was like, this was an actual closet. My clients would literally have to like walk out on nails in Tyler's print shop to go to like the nastiest bathroom ever.
I don't know
embarrassing.
how it worked.
I don't know how I built a business. I literally had a client who found me from Google. Most everyone that I grew from was from a referral system. So like, they were like, yeah, like it's just, you know, you have to drive around to the backside of this plaza. It's a little shifty, but I promise you it's worth it. This girl had found me from Google, and she walks in and she's like, is this clear skin? I was like, you're safe, I promise you. I'm like, but come inside. I'm like, hurry.
Somebody's coming.
Yeah, because literally we were backed up to a wash. And it was just like a homeless camp.
I was on the news because how many homeless people are in the wash.
Massive homeless camp surfaces.
They came and interviewed me about the homeless people. Yeah. Oh, I'm sitting here talking about how bad it is, and I had no idea it was this bad.
We showed Hagen-Yahraes.
He was like, man, this problem is real bad. I would try to like put cute signs and things out there, and they would just get stolen. It's like someone's like drug tray now. Really sad. Yeah, it was just so bad.
Yes.
But the inside was cute.
We'll speed it up.
And so then that was 2020. And so literally all of March, I was looking for spaces. And the day, literally that Friday, was it Friday, end of March. It was end of March on a Friday, 2020. I was literally going to sign the papers. And I had this overwhelming feeling that I should just wait. I should just sit on it and I should just wait. And the space was so cute. Literally the next day, COVID. Mm-hmm. And then I was working under the table, and then I was fully shut down, and I had to deliver product to people. Like, that was how I was surviving, is I was just driving all around town delivering skincare product. I was only shut down for 4 weeks in total, I think. That was tough. That October is when we found our current space. We were searching, found that current space, and it ended up...
People were still being like, hey, don't do this whole COVID thing. But we just gotta do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was still a really scary time. And then we had so much help from my mom, from my uncle, your dad, just our family really helped us out and came together. We did the full build out solo, just us. I would work all day, 9 to 7, doing facials, and then come over and help him for a couple of hours. And we just did that every single day, grinding every day. He would do his t-shirt job.
Wow, I'm sitting here.
And even before he would go into his t-shirt job, he would go in and do work on the space, go do his 9 to 5, and then go back to the space. It was tough, just like sheer.
And our house never actually was finished because
Oh no, yeah.
we
The
always
house
were
never got
jumping
finished.
over. We were always jumping over to that.
Yeah. And then I opened in January of 21 and just boomed, exploded. It was so incredible. I was not at all prepared for that at all. I was 22, 23, baby. I hadn't grown up yet. I hadn't gone to therapy yet. I mean, we were still fresh. We got married 6 months after meeting each other and just immediately threw ourselves into this really crazy life change, owning businesses. And then I just was so ill-equipped to manage a team and run a business, and then ensued probably the worst year of my life. It was so bad, so bad. I made every single mistake in the book when it comes to management and running a business. It was just terrible.
Burn through employees, burn through yourself,
Burn through money,
burn through money.
burn through myself. It was really rough. And then it was almost like it wasn't enough for us, because that October, the space next door to the spa had opened up, and the landlord was just preaching it up to us, and I was working my ass off, so we were making good money. And I was like, we could do this. I'm like, we could. At first, we got it because I wanted an office space, and I was like, I'll pay couple $1,000 for just Sammy's office space. We were thinking about maybe expanding the spa, but then I kind of saw this ad for like a mini cubicle, like a home office kind of situation, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what if we did like a micro co-working office? And then he took that idea and he expanded on it, and he added in a conference room and a photo shoot booth and the podcast studio and like a fully stocked kitchen.
It's the same kind of scenario as you jumping into that room. Is this something that we kind of just did and was never part of the plan?
I remember when we were signing the contract, I was like, yeah, here we go. I'm like, I don't know what the hell we're doing right now. I'm like, but
we signed a 5-year commercial contract like we were like purchasing groceries.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy.
Then the build out for that was tough. Yeah,
because I was still working my other job, so in the morning again and in the night again. I built that entire place by myself. It took a long time. A, because it cost a lot of money to do that, and B, just because it was so hard of work.
Yeah.
And I was building the software for it simultaneously.
Yeah.
And we're only now getting to the point where we're trying to make money now.
Hey!
Like what, 2 years later, and we're still, like the business. We built all the stuff, and now we're building the actual business. So it's been a long process. It's another example of us just throwing ourselves right into the deep end. This cat, God.
And then the next year, I was working my ass off again, and then I hit major burnout. And I had some money saved up. As you know, I have a horse. And my biggest dream with this horse that I never got to achieve as a kid was doing like the big A-rated shows. I had just done little baby schooling shows, but we had never had the money or the resources to go out and do these shows. And so I was like, before he's
Get out of here.
Another cat.
Is he speaking?
So I was like, before this guy gets too old on me and this dream is actually not even possible anymore, I'm like, I need to just take the money and run to the shows and do my thing. So I hit burnout and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna take whatever we have in savings right now, and I blew it for like 4 or 5 months. It was probably 6 months actually, because we did that show in March and then we were prepping for a show in June.
So whenever you have 2 new businesses, you just blow all your money.
Yeah.
We made a bunch of money and then we blew it on the spa, And then we got a bunch of money, then we blew it on mindshare, and then we got a bunch of money, and we blew it on horses.
Meanwhile, the house is still happening. So
Yeah.
still spending money on the house. And then we sit here and we're like, why do we feel so poor right now? That's why. But it'll all make sense soon.
Life is about taking risks and about enjoying yourself and not being afraid to go. Have an idea? Go for it. Literally work.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You claim bankruptcy and then you get to do it all over again in 7 years. Like, 7 years is not a long time, you know? Just live off grid.
I let her control the finances. We need to seek help. You're kind of. Anyways, we're gonna have to call somebody because we gotta get this out of your name. I gotta get everything in my name. Now that I think about it, this is all your fault.
Honestly, I just wake up waiting for someone to steal my identity, so I don't have to try anymore.
Yeah.
And then we sold our house.
Yep. Now we're.
Finally.
She hated the house all along, so it never actually got finished. It got pretty decent, but she never liked it. So we did make a good deal on that, though.
Yeah.
That was a good investment.
Yeah. Good job.
But anyways, that brings us to about here, where it's kind of things are shifting a little bit again, and it's crunch time again. You're getting back to work.
Yeah, this year was like I knew that this year was going to be kind of my comeback back into working more and creating a better like work-life integration. And so I've just been slowly kind of getting myself back into it. And I feel great right now. I feel like I know kind of what I'm doing with this business, which of course the second you feel like you know what you're doing, you know, some wave is going to happen. And we've already experienced a wave that I was like, oh, this is like some serious legal shit right now, like that I've never had to deal with before. That's really scary. So, but something that I have always like prayed and asked for was bigger problems, new problems, because for like 2 years in a row, I was dealing with the same problems over and over again. It was like I couldn't learn. And so now here I am dealing with bigger, new problems, and I'm working on shifting my mindset when these come across and be like, oh my gosh, like we're obviously doing well, like we're going somewhere if we're dealing with this right now.
It's been a wild couple years, feels like a decade.
Oh wait, we skipped the part where we both started trying to partner equally on mindshare, and it was very obvious for months
That we can work together.
we can't work together
No.
at all. What was I think a problem?
And you're bossy, and I don't like being bossed around.
We are completely different brains.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
It was horrible. So tell everyone it's my idea, okay? But you can run it.
It was my idea, though.
The micro part.
The only thing micro is my. I'm exhausted now from just hearing you ramble this whole time. I would imagine most people are gone by now.
It's normal.
Whew.
What's new?
But no, in all seriousness, yeah, that's pretty much, the whole story in a nutshell.
Basically, it was hell, crazy. We learned so much marriage-wise, business-wise, life-wise. We really have pinpointed what's actually important to us, because I think at first we were really distracted by shiny things. And now we're living a much more simpler life, but spending money and time on things that are actually so much more fulfilling to us. And
Yeah.
we couldn't be here at 27 and 29 and be like, yep, and be as centered and aligned in our lives as we are now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
grateful for the hard times, grateful for the challenges, but I feel like we're entering an era that we have been working really hard for, and
I'm
excited.
And we're pushing ourselves. We're trying new things. That's what this is all about. We're really trying to give it all we got and enjoy the ride at the same time. So, anything else to add? That's it. There's the whole story.